Alrighty, so today we're going to be testing this E36 chassis harness. Hasn't been tested, I just hooked everything up. First thing we want to do is once everything's connected, we want to check all of our battery constant wires on every single circuit, item, switch, connector, all of it, because just because one works doesn't mean all of them work, and we want to make sure everything works. That's what I really mean when I say we test every circuit, every wire, everything. So I haven't done this before. I hope I don't botch it. I'm probably going to get in the way and block the view of the meter. I'm kind of notorious for that, especially when I'm trying to do anything content related. So let's get started. So we have our ground hooked up to the ground. We have all our grounds. We have our battery positive. This is what is going to get connected to your battery distribution block under the hood, or some people relocate them inside behind the dash, whatever your choice. It's about 3 feet long. So let's get started. So we have our meter. We have it set to volts. Let's see here. So we have our relay for the blinkers. You don't want to stab the wire. That's good. And we have our digital dash. We can check right here. All right, that's good. And then we have our inputs and outputs. We have two, usually for your ECU to retain memory when the key is off. I hope you guys can see that. I'm not really checking. This isn't my strong suit. Check the other one. Just because there's two doesn't mean, you check one and the other is going to work. You got to check them both. We got another here in the switch panel, so we'll check that one. That's good. Alrighty, I think that's it. We're ready to key on. Now, like I said, I haven't tested this yet, so let's see what happens. So we have our ignition on switch here, so we will ignition on. So now we should check all of our ignition on circuits. So this is an add a relay which is hooked up to ignition on. This is for a radio, so we're going to check that. All right, that's good. Now we got to check our inputs and outputs. Check the pinks. Let's see here. Good. Good. Check this. Good. Might have to unscrew this. Test. Good. Good. We'll come back to this. Screw this in. Oh, right here dangling in my hand wants to be tested next, so we'll test that. Good. Inputs, outputs, digital dash. All right, so now that we checked all of the battery constant and ignition on circuits, now it's time to start flipping switches and see what happens. We have some switches here, so we will test the start button. This is for a Holley setup, so the starter signal is a flying lead off a disconnect. So this is a little tricky. Let's see if we can do it. Wrong switch. There we go. All right. So now we will test BB, which is this one. So these I like to test, make sure there's no current flowing through, and then you can activate the switch and then deactivate the switch. That just ensures the relay is working correctly. So that's always nice. CC is off of the fog light button here. This is going to be for the customer's underglow. So we test. On, off. These switches, all of these OEM switches, pay attention, make sure it's all plugged in right, make sure the button actually latches when you push it in. Those are some important details. Now we'll check DD. These are all adder relays. So here's purple, DD. Oh, lost my ground. That happens often. Will drive you crazy if you don't know what you're looking for. So let's see here. DD, boom, good to go. Wiper, which is a flying lead. Let us see right here. Okay. All this is labeled and also will come with your legend. So that works. All right. Next switch is hazards. So all 4 hazards working. That's sweet. Here we have trigger switches, and all these trigger switches are switch grounds in your inputs and outputs. So what we have to do here is switch the leads. I'm going to put this here. Let me see if that actually shows. Kind of, not really. Let's see. There we go. Okay, I'll take this out here and we will go to our inputs and outputs and we will go run through this here. So it's these 3 wires. Good. This one's momentary. This is yellow. It's gonna be a little tricky. Let's see if I can. This is for the customer's nitrous purge. So when they push the button, it'll activate, and when they let go, it'll stop. So, let's see. Bingo. Got it. All right. Last but not least. Good to go. All right. So the switch panel is fully operational, and we have that working. Next up are going to be the factory switches, which we already tested this one. So we'll test running lights. Let's see, because I can't see. All right, sweet. And you got your license plate lights here. Run your license plate lights, yo, because that one day you drive your car on the street, you don't want to be stopped. Headlights work. Sweet. Turn that all off. Be gentle with that. Don't throw it like I do. This is your OEM blinker stalk. So let's see. All right. Sweet. There we go. High beams. Beautiful. Now we will test our brake light circuit. All right, so we got the main one here in the middle, your third brake, right? That's showing up, but nothing else is showing, so this is going to be sweet. Ready for this? Let's see. Oh, this one's working. All right. Now this one I already know this is... Oh, it's not even in there. All right, give me a second. This one doesn't even have the bulb holder right here, so I have to go figure out where I dropped that real quick. Please hold. Found it on a shelf, so let's pop this in. This one, the tabs are all busted, so it's always giving me a hard time. All right, let's give that another go. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this one. Let's see if we can kind of go like that for you guys. I don't know what it looks like because this camera's up against the wall on the desk right now. Wow. Where did that? Here it is, right in front of my face. All right, ready? Let's see. Ta-da! Brake lights. Now we are going to test your reverse lights. Boom, reverse lights. All right, so that's all squared away. Test our running light circuit. We'll reactivate the running lights. You have one in your inputs and outputs for anything you want to tie into. Like if you add an aftermarket gauge or you want to have some underglow activate when your running lights are on, you can always do something like that. And then you also have one in your digital dash connector. So we'll flip this back around, get rid of this, go like this so it doesn't fall. All right, put the ground back up. Reactivate our running lights. Boom. So we will test. Good. And then we will test here. Good. Now one thing, just popped off. One thing I want to go back over is I want to All right, we're gonna circle back to the digital dash because I want to check the blinkers, and then in the digital dash we also have headlights on and high beams on. So we're just gonna re-verify all those real quick. So let's get to it. All right, so this is tan, so I want to make sure the tan. Is this green? Oh, it's green. Take that back. It's green. I made a mistake. That's why we test. All right, cool. So now we go the other way, and that should be tan. Ta-da! Good to go. So we'll turn that off, and we'll turn our high beams on. And now we'll test our high beam. Sweet, that's good. Turn those off, and then we're gonna check our headlight. Check the headlight. There we go, and that's good. So that's it. We're good, right? I didn't miss anything. This is why we test. It's at our shop. It's on the bench. We can test it right now and make sure everything's good. The fuel pump. Let's check the fuel pump. I knew there was one last one. All right, so fuel pump. This is a Holley. So this is where it gets real important to let us know what you have, because We pick up the Holley 16 gauge fuel pump wire, and we pick it up right here to this green and yellow wire, and we run that through a 30 amp relay protected circuit to a 12 gauge wire. Those little details make a big difference. So let's see if we can activate the fuel pump. There it is. There we go. Sweet. Fuel pump works. Give it one more look over, make sure I tested all the circuits. We did reverse, third brake light, running lights, headlights, high beams, blinkers, left, right, hazards, inputs and outputs. So yeah, we'll turn our running lights off, and there you have it. So now that everything is tested, there we go. So now that everything is tested, what we'll do is we'll actually finish heat shrinking everything up. The reason we don't do this is in case something does go south on us, we can actually get back into the harness and verify what occurred. It's only happened once or maybe even twice out of, I mean, we're at almost 100 here, so we're doing pretty good. See what happens. We'll heat shrink it all up. We'll put the little retaining clips on the fuse block, and we'll build the legend, send this video to the customer, package it all up in our nifty box, and ship it out. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope it came out good too, because I don't know, I literally didn't get to see any of this. And now that I'm actually just thinking about it, I didn't even use my little mic. I got these little stinking mics. I got these things, and I never use them. I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't get it. Alright, and real quick, after we are done testing a harness, we cap everything, any type of power, and we do that in case you guys don't end up using it. It's not just sitting there energized, ready to touch any ground and throw some sparks. So feel free to just heat this up with a lighter. It'll just pop right off.